Hold on, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning again. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world of the JRC and also into the world of Dr. Matthew Israel's fucking stupid. So I'm going to take a long drive of this before we go into the disclaimers. In the description box, folks, you're going to find the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused. So you know the drill, folks. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case those JRC bastards have the balls to see through with their threat. We also have linked in there the Ozarks First article in regards to the Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation. This is a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has, and pending, folks, over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the hard evidence gathered by the Missouri Department of Social Services that include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who still lives on the premises with full access to the boys, up again on multiple, again substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault. The boys there. We got a brand new attorney general too busy chasing drag queens to do his job and actually protect kids. And you've got, I don't even know what to call our governor at this fucking point, but just God make it stop. I am in hillbilly conservative hell, send help. Please read that article and share on all your social media, alright? We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masemba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones, all right? This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision very obviously advised. Trigger warning, we are about to descend once again into the mad ravings of a lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, pseudoscience, lie after lie after lie, paper-thin excuses, paper-thin arguments, enough ableism, bigotry to circle the globe a few thousand times, all coming from the mouth of an individual with a major God complex. So just be prepared for more stupid. To once again update you, we are again going against Dr. Matthew Israel, who's trying to use Title III of the ADA to get him and his device protected. Title III has specifically to do with assistive devices and aids and reasonable accommodations that allow transport and interaction between the person with the disability and their community. Things that allow us to go onto public transit, things that help us communicate back and forth, assistive devices, particularly for some that are nonverbal, It includes Braille. It includes service animals. This is what it is referencing when they're talking about Title III. The doctor here is trying to use Title III as a means to say, but you're denying people with disabilities the right to my device, which helps them by, torturing them to be out in the community without being a danger to themselves or others. First off, doctor, your device doesn't make anyone safer. Not the person next to me or me. Okay? You ever see what someone who's in a seizure looks like, doctor? Because I have. I'm referencing in particular someone who's having a grand mal. Do you know how many times I was hit in the fucking face while assisting someone while in that state? Because it was a lot, doctor. It was a lot. Now, why am I bringing this up? What does seizures have anything to do with this device? What does electricity do when it shocks you directly to your muscles, folks? There's going to be some involuntary muscle movement. Imagine a person on a fucking crowded public transit bus. Your so-called direct care staff decided that because you sneezed in a way that they didn't like, that was a sign of aggression, and they hit that device. You ever see how crowded public transit gets? I would know. I've taken public transit. A lot. Using a device that is literally up at 85 MPa, shocking them on public transit. Because that's what I'm talking about here, folks. This is Title III. This is what his dumbass is trying to use to cover his tracks. The next person, all the people, matter of fact, because a lot of times buses you're in there and you're packed in tighter than a fucking can of sardines. You could cause harm to at least 2 people, if not more, because residual effect. You see where I'm going with this, don't you, doctor? I'm very logically explaining to you on the most literal terms as to why your device should not come under Title III protections. Even use your base arguments, even playing devil's advocate here. Think about it. All right? Fucking think about it. All right, let's get into the paragraph, shall we? Despite the documented effectiveness of aversive therapy, MDRI in its appeal unreasonably asks the UN to disregard the mandate of the ADA and impose a policy that systematically and invidiously discriminates against persons with disabilities by denying them treatment without any consideration for their individual needs. Really? Fucking God. No, doctor. That's you projecting your insanity onto us. I mean, I know you do it so often, but come on here. Let's talk, right? Let's introduce a little bit of logic. The ADA and Title III does not in any way, shape, or fucking form have anything to do with your device. These are not the devices that they are referencing. These are not the droids you're looking for. Okay? That is such an asinine and demonstrably false argument I've ever heard. I work for a call center, doctor, these days. I've heard some stupid shit, but goddamn. To sit there and try to insinuate that the MDRI is violating the ADA because they don't want kids to be tortured for how they were born. You got balls, I'll give you that. But what you just mentioned has nothing to do with Title III. At all. None. Zilch. Nada. And I kind of want to know what drugs you were on when you even came up with that idea that it might make a valid argument. It's demonstrably false. And once again, he's saying, you're being unreasonable. Are we? Are we? See, doctor, anytime any one of us have ever tried to debate you, have invited you, have asked you to explain it to us like we are a child of fucking 2, you have denied it every time. Every single time we bring up a valid argument, you discredit us, tell us we're being unreasonable, that you just don't want to see the benefits. There's no benefits to torture, doctor. But it's effective for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You want to talk about history, doctor? You want to talk about the Massachusetts courts? Let's talk, because my ass was watching last night, as I'm a documentary junkie, particularly about history, was watching about the witch trials, out in England, and one of the most famous ones happening inside your state. Let's talk, shall we? Person to person here. And it would reference, indeed, some of the paper-thin excuses that these men used to torture and murder a whole bunch of innocent people. Okay? Now, suppose we lived back in that time. I'm sure they would have argued too. Well, we're doing the best we can for their souls. We have to cleanse them with fire. Yes, that was a thing, folks. That was a thing. We have to do these nonsensical trials where we will basically drown them. If she floats, if she's a witch, if she dies while drowning, well, then she was innocent and she goes to heaven. That's how bad your arguments are, doctor. That's how fucking bad your arguments are. You sound exactly like they did. Exactly. For those of us who, back in those days, tried to speak up at all, of any kind of compassion towards those who were being inhumanely slaughtered, well, yeah. Guess who got called a witch next? See what I'm saying? Your arguments are just as bad as the bastards who did that inhumane, cruel shit back then. Okay? This idea that you are trying to pass off here, that us wanting the torture to stop, that us wanting people to not have to be punished for how they were fucking born, is somehow violating the ADA. How do you even come up with this shit? Quit smoking the crack, doctor. It's bad for you. Anybody ever tell you? Put the crack pipe down. All right? And this whole idea, you have no consideration for their individual needs. You don't care. I am them, jackass. People who are a part of the MDRI, they're them too. As well as the doctors, the psychologists, the social workers, the human rights workers. We are them, jackass. all of us up against this school are either them or we are, or they're the parents of kids just like them. Or they work with kids just like them. You don't care about their individual needs. I have their needs, doctor. I am one of them. That is beyond ignorant thing to say. I had self-harming behaviors when I was younger. Very bad ones, too, I might add. Along with self-loathing and extreme amounts of depression. How would your device actually help that situation? It wouldn't have. It would have made it 1,000 times worse. Okay? Okay. I'd know and consider their needs because I share many of them. Granted, each person with a disability are as different as your basic abled neurotypical. We're all different. We have different individual needs and concerns. Gotcha there. Fine, doctor, I'll give you that. But you're talking about individuals and you're bringing up specific behaviors and things that literally damn near all of us have experienced. All of us. To say we're not taking that into consideration, that we're just sending them into evasive-free areas with no thought or consideration of how dangerous they are to themselves or others. Really? Really? You're going to tell somebody with the diagnosis who worked in the field that I don't give a shit about their individual needs? Really? Because I'm pretty sure I care about their needs more than you ever could, because I'm not a sociopathic fucking monster. Okay? Do you know how many individuals that I'd see in my office in the day-to-day who went through some horrific abuse? Damn near every last one of them. Damn near every last one of them. You'd ask me, why didn't you send them to the JRC? Because I knew from own personal experience the logical forms of treatment programs out there that would be able to answer those individual needs without torture. And don't tell me it can't be done, doctor. Because I did it over and over and over and over again. The people who work for DMH out here, they do it every single fucking day. And they do it with almost no federal or state funding. Do not tell me we do not care. Do not tell me that this is the only way. I've done it. I've also lived it. And the case managers and the social workers out here working on next to fucking nothing with no backing and no funding are out there doing it every single day. Every day. Spare me the bullshit. It's such blatant flouting of anti-discrimination purposes and ideals behind the ADA represents a significant step backwards in the realm of disability rights in the United States. You don't give a shit about the ADA or anybody's rights, doctor. You have your staff grab by the throat or by the shirt collar students randomly out in hallways and threaten them with knives. You strap a boy to a 4-point board and shock him for 7 hours until he comes into a state of catatonia for not removing his coat. You literally torture these kids for thought crimes, okay? You strip them from their rights the moment they walk through that door. You shock them if they don't breathe in a way that you approve of. We have proved demonstratively through your own video surveillance, nonetheless, that you violate all of their ADA and Disability Bill of Rights every single day in alphabetical fucking order. And you dare try to use the ADA to defend your shit. And then you're going to make yourself out a defender of us. Sit down. Because the ADA does not protect monsters like you. It protects us from you. Let's say that again for the idiots in the fucking back. The ADA does not protect Dr. Israel, the JRC, or the GED device. The ADA protects us from him. Except when bastards like this get around it by using state laws. Laws made well before the disability rights movement got off the ground. You want to talk about blatant flaunting? That's you, doctor. Not only do you use this device and torture us, not only do you starve us or have your staff traumatize us, not only do you deprive us of sleep and any basic human rights, not only do you do all of these things, literally all of the above, you strip us of every single few protections that we've got. You didn't want to try to act like you're our defender? That we're violating disability rights. We're doing it. How dare us try to free these kids from torture? How dare we speak up and tell the fucking truth? How dare we come at you with arguments of logic? How dare we back it up with the data? How dare we back it up with receipts? You know how stupid you sound, doctor? You are not protected by Title III. Your device is not protected by Title III. We are not violating Title III by holding you responsible for the 6 deaths you caused and the numerous generations of autistics and other disabled people and people with mental health issues that you have traumatized and destroyed. You belong behind bars, doctor. And I'm going to close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'm going to go cool down because, boy, am I pissed off. Fucked with the wrong girl, doctor. You picked the wrong bitch.